Welcome to another edition of Sports Monday. I am Paul Lopez. This week we will dive into the results of Friday night's inter-office basketball showdown in the Mexico Sports Complex in memory of Ian Mariano Sr. Also, we will be bringing you the highlights from the championship day for the Live Life Youth Basketball Tournament 2022 hosted by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Sprite. And to close off this week's coverage, we will have a football update from the Premier League of Belize, which is in its 10th week. And with that, we start tonight's coverage from the Mexico Sports Complex, where basketball fans witnessed 3 back-to-back battles on the basketball court. Game 1 was between the Belize Police Department and the Belize Water Services. Team BWS won that game in a 68-62 game, but Team Police did not make it easy for them. BWS trailed in the first quarter, but turned things around for the lead by 3 points at the end of the half. BWS maintained the lead all through the third. In the fourth quarter, Team Police turned up the heat with 1 minute of playtime remaining. It was an all-out battle for victory. Number 9 for Team Police, Akeem Trapp, scored a critical free throw at the 41st second to tie the basketball game and send it into overtime. Here's what Coach Claude Martin had to say after the game.
I told them they need to learn to trust each other, and we have the experience. We have dealt with the man-to-man before, and so there is no need for us to panic. We panicked for a little bit, but we gained our composure, and that helped us. It's a big win. We lost 3 games. We're trying to make one of the 4-player spots, so this counted towards that.
Game 2 was between the Belize Coast Guard and the undefeated team Tough Enough. For the most part, it was smooth sailing for the unconquered team Tough Enough throughout the entire 4 quarters. That game ended at 60-45 points in favor of Team Tough Enough. We heard from number 22, Ian Rene, and Coach Rico Black.
Tonight, victory was a team effort. From the game start, we were talking about defense. They say defense create offense. Basically, our team is structured with defense. Offense comes first. However, we pride ourselves on defense. That's like our coach always say. The game always starts in the 4th quarter. However, one of our team members got hurt, but we pulled together and we came up with a victory.
I don't like to brag, but the last time IBL League invited me to play was in 2014 or 2013, and I went undefeated 17-0. Wow. And I never got invited again, so I came back with a vengeance. Because, my players are basically family. Most of them work for me. So I give them a chance to play ball, work, and enjoy their lives, The
third match of the night saw the National Sports Council go up against Grace Kennedy. It was a win-or-go-home match. In the end, the National Sports Council kept their chances of making the playoffs alive, while Grace Kennedy was sent on a fishing trip. Moving on now to some more basketball action, we take you to the Lopez Mateo Park in Kings Park for the finals of the Live Life Youth Basketball Tournament 2022. The Ministry of Home Affairs and Sprite teamed up earlier this year to give young men from communities across Belize City and surrounding villages an outlet to express themselves through basketball. This year's tournament began with 18 teams, and as the cream rises to the top, so did the top 4 teams. Team Police fought it out against the Hattieville Underdogs for 3rd place. At the end of Game 1, Team Police was arrested and charged for its inability to overcome the bark and bite of the massive Underdogs. Hattieville Underdogs secured the 3rd place trophy and a monetary prize of $1,000. In the fight for 1st place were teams Hard Rock Boys from the Antelope Street Extension area and the Complex Titans. Fans witnessed a nail-biting 4th quarter after Complex Titans rebounded from a 25-point deficit and gained the lead. But in the end, it was the Hard Rock Boys who walked away with the title of champions, the 1st place trophy, and a monetary prize of $1,500. Complex Titans walked away with the 2nd place trophy and $1,200.
I must say, I must applaud all these teams who really showed over the last 22 weeks their work, dedication, and commitment. I can remember literally earlier the year when we sat down with them in discussion of how we would have started this tournament. I told them we will give to them, but they need to give back. Meaning, if they keep down the pace, this tournament will literally push. 5 months and change later, and we see that teams have held it down. We've seen great discussion. We've seen communication at a certain level with these guys. In fact, I'm hearing that there are certain meetings that are held with these guys without protection and police presence that kind of way. And that's big a step.
And from the Hard Rock Boys came the MVP for the Live Life Youth Basketball Tournament. He is none other than Kevin Hamilton. Hamilton, at only 28 years old, has enjoyed a great deal of personal success in the sport. He has defied many of the odds stacked up against him, coming from a community riddled with gang warfare. We sought to learn more about this inspiring athlete in this week's Players Profile. Kevin Hamilton was named the most valuable player in the Live Life Youth Basketball Tournament 2022, hosted by the Ministry of Home Affairs and Sprite. Hamilton played for the Hard Rock Boys, a team made up of players from the Iguana Street Extension area in Belize City. The 28-year-old basketball player grew up playing the sport as an escape from the crime and violence plaguing his community. He spoke with us about his experience.
I have lost a big brother by gun violence. I think he was shot about 8 times.
And I'm sure you've also seen other members of your community fallen.
Definitely. You know, actually, someone actually died right in front of my gate. So I've seen firsthand. I had an uncle that passed away a good while ago, but I was younger, so I didn't really feel it. But when my big brother passed away, man, violence could do a lot to you, mentally and physically.
And the misfortune continued as Hamilton lost his childhood home in May of 2018 to a house fire that left 13 other persons displaced, including his girlfriend and son. He left the area for a year and returned. After Saturday's tournament, we agreed to meet Hamilton the following evening in a recently refurbished park on Iguana Street Extension. When we arrived, a group of residents had gathered to compete in a two-a-side basketball youth tournament. They turned the small basketball event into a grand affair.
And the support, sometimes the council come asking me for donation for the people playing basketball, but they always support. But here, this place, first time I support. This morning, my husband got back to basketball, and then we supported some smart money and waters. I support the kids.
Right now, that was the neighbor that set up this. This not get set up by nobody else, but by the neighbors and the community. Cook wali food, you know. We put wali 5 or wali money in it, and we give it a little thing, wali 25 or wali 20 for the winner.
Kevin is regarded by many in his community as a hard-working and humble athlete who dedicates most of his time to his family responsibilities and the sport. As he tells it, this MVP player had to invest in improving over time.
In primary school, I actually made the basketball team, but I did not get a jersey. I was on a reserve player. So I said to myself at that point in time, I need to be better. In high school, I was better, but my team was not that great. When I was about 17, I played for the national team. That's when I really excelled. So at that point in time, I realized I might be short, but I can do big things.
With a growing need for more positive activities to engage youths in the Iguana Street area, community leaders like Lindbergh Moody has turned to basketball with the hope that more youths will experience personal success similar to Kevin Hamilton's. 4 years ago, Lindbergh Moody established the Hard Rock Under-15 and Under-17 basketball teams.
Like every day, you go through a different son. Like sometimes I just left there to make them express their feelings. I think this year I have a 14-year-old lose a mom. He may live with a mom. So now he they there by himself, but if dad they wrong, his brother or sister, but he may literally just see a mom. I have other kids when their father walk away. Then like I said, they don't have it. So like everything goes in the mix, and to me that's why I say sports so important that when these young men they wrong the game, then I really worry. I mean, like, once they play the game, they're a whole different bunch of young men. I mean, like I said,
if you instill that in your head that you could be the best, you'll be the best.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez. To wrap things up for this edition of Sports Monday, we bring you some stats from the Premier League of Belize football. PLB is in its 10th week of competition. The past weekend saw Wagiya defeat Progresso FC with a score of 1-0. Benque Viejo FC took on Verdes FC and won that game 2-0. Meanwhile, the Belmopan Bandits lost to Team Altitude at the Michael Ashcroft Stadium in Independence Village. Well, That's all for sports coverage this week, folks. If you're looking for some clean, family-friendly basketball action this weekend, you can head on down to the Belize Civic Center on Friday night for the Ian Mariano All-Star Classic. That event promises to be a night of non-stop action. Same time, same place, next week. I'm Paul Lopez.